The ultimate shortcut to Mahayana practice. Part 1. The Operation Manual and Encyclopedia of Mahayana Practice. Greetings, fellow practitioners. Today, let's address the common source of confusion with so many Buddhist scriptures. How should we read them? What is the relationship between them? Many people ask, is the Lotus Sutra something we only read after we've perfectly graduated? Does it talk about something incredibly distant? Not at all. The Lotus Sutra we see today essentially teaches two things: what true devotion and respect look like, and what authentic offering means. When it describes the stories of Medicine King Bodhisattva or the past lives of Shakyamuni Buddha, it isn't just telling tales, it's setting a standard. Only by reaching that level can it be considered to have entered the gate of formal offering. If the Lotus Sutra sets the standard, then the Avatamsaka Sutra is like a grand saga of heroes and a job description for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It introduces their realms and the stages of the 10 Budhas, but it rarely touches upon specific operational details. So you might ask, where is the operation manual? In fact, the entire Prajna Wisdom series serves as the condensed version of the specific methods and details of Mahayana practice. Although I call it a condensed version, if you were to truly detail the Prajna scriptures, they would fill a house. It is an encyclopedia. Within this encyclopedia, it explains the significance of every point of cultivation. Take supernatural powers. Siddhi. It doesn't just teach you magic. It analyzes why you would activate them for the sake of liberating sentient beings. It mentions their appearance, their causes, and related matters. However, it won't necessarily hold your hand to tell you step 1. Move your left foot. Step 2. Move your right. Instead, it reveals the essence and the why behind every point. Therefore, practitioners shouldn't just refer to prajna. Rather, when you reach a specific bottleneck in your cultivation, you go there to find the corresponding answer. Part 2. The power of the system. Why the Shurangama Sutra is irreplaceable. Speaking of this, we must mention a very special scripture, the Shurangama Sutra, also known as the 5 Assemblies of Shurangama. Why 5 assemblies? Because it is actually a compilation of 5 different Dharma assemblies. The Buddha took content that was absolutely logically connected and could be strung together, and placed them in one volume. This was an act of great wisdom because the greatest fear in cultivation is a disconnection, learning, and then losing the thread, unable to find the next step. The Shurangama Sutra constructs a complete system that can lead you directly to the level of dry wisdom Ganhui. What is the significance of this? For example, if you can break through the 3 mountains of the affliction obstacle, the retribution obstacle, and the karma obstacle from the level of dry wisdom, then the subsequent stages, the 10 fates, 10 dwellings, 10 practices, 10 dedications, and 10 grounds will be smooth and unobstructed. If you cannot pass this initial block, you will be climbing with those 3 mountains on your back. The moment an affliction appears in reality, like the temptation of food or an emotional fluctuation, you won't be able to cross over. It's like our recent research into diet, sugar, and dopamine. Previously, you felt that not eating was impossible. That was an obstacle too high to climb. Now that you've learned a little and practiced a little, even if you haven't completely quit, when you put that food in your mouth, your heart skips a beat. You think about the consequences and decide a couple of bites are enough. This shows the obstacle is thinning. If you were to focus on this in an aranya, a place of stillness, within a few years, you could reach a state of absolute dread toward these products of false views. Cultivation is about throwing away all false views and letting right views take root in the heart. Part 3. The anti-crash system for Bodhisattvas, the heart of no expectation. Next, I want to discuss the crucial point regarding whether you can go far on the Bodhisattva path. The Maharatnakuta Sutra of the Great Heap of Jewels states, one should teach the Dharma with a pure heart of no expectation. Many people start out wanting to benefit others, but eventually give up. Why? Because their 3 obstacles are deep, and more importantly, their hearts are not pure. You want to benefit someone, but they aren't grateful. You want them to change for the better, but they choose to fall. At that point, you think, forget it, whatever happens the moment the thought forget it appears. Your Bodhisattva practice is broken. What destroys your path is not the sentient beings, but your own heart of expectation. If you have even a shred of expectation hoping for gratitude, offerings, respect, or even just hoping they become better, you have bound yourself to that sentient being. Sentient beings are confused. If they want to jump off a cliff, and you're tied to them by the rope of expectation, when they fall, you go down with them. Even a Buddha cannot help an chantical one without faith. So why do you cling? True teaching is to view sentient beings like passing clouds or dreams. You simply repeat the truth to them countless times. Whether they listen or change has absolutely nothing to do with you. We must learn to untie the knot. If the situation looks bad and the other person refuses to turn back, you must be able to untie that expectation at any moment. Remember, any heart of expectation, no matter how compassionate it seems, is a form of greed if it contains an element of seeking. It is a dead knot that drags you into the abyss. Part 4. The networking mechanism of Buddha merit pure altruism. Since we seek no reward, why do we continue to teach and benefit others? The Maharatnakuta Sutra mentions 20 benefits, the first of which is the achievement of right mindfulness. Many practitioners think that to cultivate right mindfulness, they must hide in the deep forest. I have tried that. Practicing alone is a one-to-one speed. You get exactly what you put in. But in the process of benefiting others, the efficiency is at least 1 to 3. Why? Because when you teach, you are in right mindfulness yourself. Add to that the power of giving, and the most critical point, instant networking. When you benefit sentient beings with a heart of pure compassion and no expectation, your frequency aligns with that of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The Buddha possesses a merit called the heavenly drum. In the heavens, whenever a celestial being becomes heedless, the heavenly drum automatically sounds to teach the Dharma. This merit pervades all time and space. When your heart is pure, you will find that certain dharmas you never previously knew or studied will naturally flow out of your mouth. That isn't your inspiration, that is Buddha power blessing. Your hardware has connected to the cloud drive of the Buddhas. The password for this connection is simple: purity. Your altruism must be pure, and your loyalty to the Buddha's teachings must be pure. If you add even a tiny bit of selfishness, like if I teach well, I might get offerings, the URL changes, and the page will no longer load. Part 5. The fastest path to cultivation: absolute loyalty. Finally, I want to share the fastest way to practice loyalty. You've all heard the story of Chittapandaka, right? He was so dull-witted he couldn't remember for words even after months of teaching. But he had one quality: absolute loyalty. When the Buddha told him to sweep, he swept. When the Buddha told him to teach, he went without a second thought. The result: this slowest person, once on the stage, analyzed the Dharma more profoundly than anyone, because he had completely surrendered his ego and aligned perfectly with the Buddha's merit. Many people think they are clever, studying this and that, but they only end up with a head full of cognitive obstacles, jnana avarana, disconnecting them from the Buddha. What is loyalty? It means being willing to die for him, being willing to sacrifice yourself, your family, and everything you own, and doing so with joy. Once you reach this level of purity toward the Buddha and his teachings, you gain more than just a little merit. You gain the infinite, boundless merit of the Tathagata. Loyalty means turning yourself into a brick. A brick has no feet. Where you put it, it stays. If you grow feet and constantly want to run where you want to go, that isn't loyalty. Cultivation does not require you to build merit through hard labor. The merit of the Buddhas is shared. It is a common resource. If you are loyal enough to reach the state where the Dharma body of all Buddhas enters my nature, and my nature merges with the Tathagata, then you don't need to practice. Everything belonging to the Tathagata belongs to you. So, stop spending your energy trying to show off or seeking fame and fortune. Simply benefit sentient beings with sincerity. Maintain that heart of no expectation, and you will find that the path to enlightenment is far easier and more sublime than you ever imagined. That concludes our sharing for today. Thank you for listening to this profound Dharma shared by the Buddha Conduct Association of Australia. May you all be absolutely loyal to the Buddha and his teachings, receiving his blessings in every thought. Stay on the same frequency as the Buddha, and with a heart of pure altruism and the authentic Dharma, benefit all sentient beings with tireless body and mind.